Well, good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you to Sunday School here. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 12, just briefly looking ahead. How many of you are driving around or riding around and seeing Christmas lights up so far? Somebody and they said they don't even wait until Halloween's over. They go ahead and get it up, get the tree up, and everything like October 20th or something like that. I was like, man, I was driving by a big old house in a town near where we live, and it was all lit up, had all the decorations up already and everything. And I was like, that's not even Thanksgiving. What in the world are these people doing? I guess there's some contest in that town though, so they're trying to win a contest and those. And that's good. I mean, to win a contest, um, decorating lights and everything. And then the other deal is, you know, Black Friday. Typically, what has been Black Friday in the past, I don't know, 2 decades has is this Friday. It's the Friday immediately after Thanksgiving. Okay, but how many of you seen, or even maybe you've gotten text because you signed up on companies' websites and stuff like that? You gotten Black Friday deals that are already happening. Like Black Friday shopping is already taking place for a lot of retailers. And again, I question that. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Because again, um, the holiday shopping season, I guess it started in July for some people, right? They wanted to get ahead of everything and try to make those things. But technology changes so quick these days that if you buy a technology item, if you buy a computer or a tablet or something like that, it's already out of date by the time Christmas comes around. And we've seen that when we had to wait on electronics with the pandemic, right? We got a lot of shipments that were delayed and all that type of stuff. And then once we got the items, we was like, oh man, it's already over with. It's not even any good. We have to go ahead and upgrade to the next one. There's I think it's one of the cell phone companies actually. You can pay to do that now, where it's like if you wait just 6 months, you can upgrade to the next phone. And as long as you're paying on that one certain plan, you can have a new phone every 6 months. And that's that's okay with some people, but it's what Matthew chapter 12 is talking about. It's not worried about what he's trying to explain. It's not worried about what is happening today or in the past. And again, what we're talking about today is like, well, we're already talking about Christmas, but we haven't even had Thanksgiving, and we're gonna have Thanksgiving late here at the church. But it's where what happened to Thanksgiving? I mean, it's like it's not even a thing anymore. Here in Matthew chapter 12, verse 9, we're gonna read, or yeah, verses 9 through a few other verses here. We're gonna read about Jesus healing, and they're concerned about today. They're concerned about the day that what they've instituted in law as something that they literally forbid any work being done. It says, moving on from here, he entered the synagogue. There was a man who had a paralyzed hand, and in order to accuse him, they asked him, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath? See, they encountered a situation and they uh, had ulterior motives. Okay, they were trying to catch him. So, but he said to them, what man among you, if he had sheep that fell into a pit on the Sabbath, wouldn't take hold of it and lift it out? A man is worth far more than a sheep. So it is lawful to do what is good on the Sabbath. Then he told the man, stretch out your hand. So he stretched it out, and it was restored, as good as the other. But the Pharisees went out and plotted against him, that how they might destroy him. When Jesus became aware of this, he withdrew from there. Huge crowds followed him, and he healed them all. He warned them not to make him known, so that what was spoken through the prophet Isaiah might be fulfilled. Here is my servant whom I've chosen, my beloved in whom my soul delights. I will put my spirit on him, and he will proclaim justice to the nations. He will not argue or shout, and no one will hear his voice in the streets. He will not break a bruised reed, and he will not put out a smoldering wick, until he has led justice to victory. The nations will put their hope in his name. And you see right here what the study author wants us to realize is that, yes, there are laws today. That what he's recognizing is that there are traditions and customs and what we might call as native nations and protocol where there's certain things that have to be done. Right now, from what I'm told, we have a citizen of the Pawnee Nation that was had passed away, and so we have to do certain things. And one of those certain things right now is that we don't powwow. We don't do the drum thing. We don't dance. We don't celebrate things right now. What we're doing is going through a time of mourning, right? But that's not always applicable in all situations. When we're trying to hold to what we know as being Pawnee or any of the native nations, their culture, that's what makes up. That's what they're known for, right? And that's what these guys are known for as well. When they're talking about when they're trying to accuse Jesus, right? They're speaking truth when they're saying that. They didn't call him out and say you can't heal on the Sabbath. What they were asking him was a trick question. But what they believed in was what they were questioning. What they were actually posing to Jesus was, no work takes place on the Sabbath. You can't do anything on a Sabbath. They're saying any work, any type of work, including healing a man where he had an ailment and a disability, but they weren't speaking against their belief, but they weren't truly taking part or utilizing it, right? And some might say, if you really analyze the situation yesterday, I'm talking about yesterday during the game, we had Pawnee people out there doing a good thing for Native American Heritage Month. We had Pawnee people out there, I wouldn't call it celebrating, but they were asked to do something on behalf of not just the Pawnee people, but all the nations represented in Oklahoma, right? And you might think about it and be like, well, we have things that we're taking care of at home. We're not supposed to be doing certain things when these things are going on. The conflict that the Pharisees are having right now when they're trying to accuse Jesus is that same conflict that we encounter every single day, not only as natives, but as Christians, right? As Oklahomans, as Indians in this great nation, this great country, right? But what we have to realize is that, if we're going to hold to our values, we have to actually believe in them. And sometimes what we believe in isn't necessarily what we're trying to hold to is in that faith, right? And that's what he's talking about when the Pharisees were accusing him, and they were it's not like Jesus had an aha moment, but he then knew where their hearts were, right? And so he left. And when he left, he took the crowds with him, and he still continued to heal them. It doesn't say on the Sabbath. It doesn't specifically say what day of the week or anything like that. But what he was destined to do, what he was put on earth to do, was to heal them. And he continued to do that. And what he was saying, what was read, right, was the prophecy that he was going to be something different, that he was going to actually realign what everybody was thinking about God and what they were actually told about a long time ago, and that's why the scriptures there, um, Isaiah, when the text follows along, what Isaiah read to them before Jesus arrived, right? And that's what he's saying. He's not going to come and create conflict. He's not going to come and argue for this or that. He's actually just going to stand on the foundation that God laid for him, and he's going to do the mission that God sent him to do, was to heal people, was to proclaim that there's a better way than all this conflict and all this disease and all this hurt and all this shame and all that type of. He's not even going to deal with it. That's what's real life. That's what's so great about this right here. He didn't pay any attention to him. All the negativity, all the animosity that the Pharisees, they were literally trying to kill him. But he said, well, you know what? You guys believe in healing, just not on the Sabbath, but that's not what God instituted. Actually, God said that he would send a prophet to be able to tell them, and a savior to be able to save them, actually take away all their sins so that they don't get in this cycle, so they don't turn this this good thing, the man with the hand who got healed, into a bad thing. In fact, what he was also signifying here was that it was going to move away from them. The Pharisees, they were going to reject it. The Jewish nation was going to reject the idea that God could be so good to raise up one of his own and save them. In fact, they mocked him. They was like, you know what? We get in that same type of deal. People, we have a tendency to go to the I guess the negative side of the whole deal and be right. How many of us are guilty of that, right? Start trying to accuse and be like, well, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that. That's not what Jesus is trying to, and he's saying that there's going to be a better way. In fact, if you look forward to his return, right? It doesn't say it right here, but what he's saying is look forward to what God has given you, what he's promised you, what he's actually going to deliver to you. And he said, he will not break a bruised reed. He will not do all this stuff. And he says, the nations will put their hope in his name. And that's something that I think that, we forget about sometimes. We don't realize, because we do. We get caught up in today. We get caught up in what's happening now. We get caught up in everything that's going on. And it matters. It matters that, we're human. We have emotions. We care about certain things. But what matters most is that God sent his son to die for us, that he wanted a relationship with us, that he continues to take care of us and serve us. But he's also promised us a better life, because we couldn't do it on our own. So he sent his son to die for us and create that heaven. And what he's going to do is send his son back, right? Jesus is going to return. God is going to send him back, and he's going to conquer everything, because that's what he said. That's what this whole text, that's this whole, I guess you call story, whatever you want to label it, right? This book that God gave us, his word, it's telling us. And we heard a little bit about a revival, how things are going to play out. But at the very, very, very basic part of it, right, we sometimes forget he's got better ahead of us. We don't have to worry about the squabbling and all this stuff right now. He's got something better ahead of us, and that's what we need to look forward to. And what the Bible study author's talking about here is that, we got something so much more powerful to look to than all these little squabbles right here. But what he was tying it to is, Thanksgiving. We're not even. Most people aren't even considering it. They're just looking at the meal and be like, hey, we get to go Black Friday shopping or whatever, But what about what's ahead of us, right? Christmas. And that's good. That's good to look forward to Christmas and then New Year's and everything that we're going to see in 2025. And then, we get to see, I wouldn't say a totally transformed government here in the United States, but a different government for sure. And some people are scared. some people are glad, but we have something to look forward to, and something beyond that, right? We have graduation for kids. We have the summer to look forward to. Then we have next next school year and next football season for those that didn't make it, and in the playoffs. The Black Bears rolling, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see and everything. I'm glad for these kids. But this isn't it for them. The seniors, this will be their last time playing high school football, but this isn't it for them. They have their whole lives ahead of them. But we want to enjoy this moment. We want to praise them. We want to take care of them and everything, but this isn't the end of it. And that's what the Bible study author is trying to show, this right here. This isn't, the Pharisees were trying to kill Jesus. We're trying to trap him in a deal. At the very basic of it, it's healing. They were talking about healing, and as a nation as a whole, they needed healing. They needed a savior. They needed to be able to be pulled out of the pit that he was talking about with the sheep, right? Same as today. So I thought this was really good. I didn't want to skip over this, even though we was having technical difficulties back there. Something's wrong with our internet. It won't work. But any questions? Any comments? Boomer Sooner. Hey. All right. Well, Brother Ken, would you dismiss us in prayer before we get ready for Sunday school or our main service?